No, baby, that's for somebody else. We're just gonna keep you right where you're at right now.
It doesn't matter what you think.
The Wrestling Realm presents Break It Down with Bryan H.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of Break It Down with Bryan H. I'm your host, Bryan H. Waters. This show, of course, brought to you by the Wrestling Realm. Well, we are on episode 97, coming up on the 100th episode, where I will break down the decade. So I'm interested to see, what are your thoughts? What were some of the best moments of this decade? Who was the best wrestler? That's what I want to know. Who do you guys think? I already know who I have already in mind, but I want to know, who do you have as the best wrestler of the decade? And I want to know best pay-per-view of the decade, best match. So we'll get into that. But this is episode 97, and it's only right to go right into our top rope.
Going up to the top rope.
It's time for this week's Top Rope segment of the week.
The top rope this week, Daniel Bryan reviving the Yes Movement. You know, a few weeks ago, he talked about not wanting to do that. And you slowly started to see that he was making this turn. Now, let's go back to a year ago. Let's turn the clock back to a year ago. He wins the WWE Championship on, this is when SmackDown Live was on a Tuesday. Nobody really saw it coming. But he beat AJ Styles, became the champion. He was the number 2, perhaps maybe number 3 babyface on the SmackDown Live brand. Well, sometimes we heard from Christian, it's always better to be the number 1 heel than the number 2 babyface. We saw that in 2011. Christian wins the WWE World Heavyweight, it was called the World Heavyweight Championship that was vacated by Edge. He defeated Alberto Del Rio. Then he won it at Extreme Rules and then lost it immediately to Randy Orton. Now, a lot of us felt, well, why couldn't the WWE give Christian an opportunity? Give him a chance to run with the ball. Why did you have to take the golden boy Randy Orton over there? And then after the next pay-per-view, we saw the heel turn from Christian. And that was similar to what we saw with Daniel Bryan that night, because he used a low blow to defeat AJ Styles. Well, the heel turn maybe has ran its course. Maybe Fox wants to see, excuse me, maybe Fox wants to see the Yes Movement. When you watch the match at the Survivor Series, and this is what he discussed as he told people he was bringing it back, we saw the fact that the people were cheering, and he began to feed off of that energy right before the Fiend will quickly take him out. But Daniel Bryan announced the Yes Movement is back. I'm excited for it. We're at December right now. 9 times out of 10, and I gotta really do some thinking, I think the last time a major title changed hands in December was when Sheamus became the WWE champion when he defeated John Cena. But that belt kind of came right back to him. I want to know what's going to happen, because I don't see Daniel Bryan winning the WWE Championship. I think that we all just know this is going to eventually get us Roman Reigns versus The Fiend. Hope that I'm wrong. I just don't want to see nothing forced, because I'm starting to see this Yes Movement pick up and gain traction. So now I want to know what's going to happen. Well, Bray Wyatt pretty much, he showed up at the Funhouse and he pretty much said to Daniel Bryan, like, haha, okay, I see, that's cool. And then, it's like disappeared. Then all of a sudden, Daniel Bryan gets the crowd going with the yes chants. Lights go out. The Fiend comes from underneath the ring and does what he does. He chokes him out. But if you watch carefully, or if you watch, you saw the way the show ended. He took him underneath, and then he came back up with pieces of Bryan's hair. So I want to know: are we getting a clean cut Daniel Bryan, or are we getting a funny hairstyle? Who knows? I noticed before he won the WWE Championship, and actually before his return, because remember he cut his hair when he was GM. But you started slowly but surely seeing him grow his hair back. And that's when it looked like, man, we might not get Daniel Bryan as back in the ring. But slowly but surely, then there was the talks. He's been talking to people. He's getting cleared. And boom, there it was. Something we never thought would happen. Daniel Bryan was back in the ring. Now I want to see what's going to happen, how he's going to look. And that's going to be a anticipation until we get to Friday night. What does Daniel Bryan look like? But I tell you, this Fiend, man, did you see that they have a handcrafted, custom-made championship that's well over, I think it's $7,000 or $6,500. And I'm like, oh boy. Now, of course, I got a couple titles right here. We'd love to have more. Hopefully I'll have more soon. That one, I don't even like the way it looks. I just don't. I don't like the way it looks. And I surely ain't paying the price for that. Now, I'm not a huge Fiend fan. I like him. I like the character. I like the fact that there's somebody that's intriguing and you don't know what's going to happen. But no, I'm not paying. I wonder if my man Tim, biggest Bray Wyatt fan I know, I wonder if he's going to get that title. But let's move on. Sasha and Bayley. Now, they came out to address the SmackDown Live women and address them for losing at the Survivor Series. Now, we know Bayley was defeated by Shayna Baszler, but I loved how her and Sasha made it seem like Sasha was the last woman standing. Granted, it was 1 versus 3, so she had some gripe here. And, they went out there and they just pretty much said, look, y'all dropped the ball, and told them they needed to get right. But that would lead to Lacey Evans coming out there. And Lacey Evans had a lot to say. And she looked like she will be set up to be the next challenger for Bayley. But, if you want to get to Bayley, you take out Sasha. If you want to get to Sasha, you take out Bayley. And that's what she did. She hit Sasha with the women's right. So this is going to be interesting. I know there's a lot of speculation that we're going to get a Bayley versus Sasha at WrestleMania. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest, I don't want to see it. Not right now. I like them as heels. I think they're hot as heels. I love this character from Sasha Banks. I do not need to see her once again as a babyface. No time soon. And Bayley is just getting her, feet wet. So WrestleMania is in April. We're in December. And I know this is around the time where we start to get a preview of what the card will look like. Obviously, they already know. Possibly it's a lot of WrestleMania matches penciled in, I'm sure. I just hope this is not one of them. Speaking of women, sticking right there. Nikki Cross, victorious over Sonya Deville. But then afterwards, she would be attacked by Mandy Rhodes and Sonya Deville. Mandy Rose still sticking up with this, sticking to this whole Nikki's not pretty and all this other stuff, which is very annoying, dare say. But hey, it is what it is. I guess Mandy Rose is somebody that you would look at and some men would drool over her, so they have to give us a reason to boo her, and this certainly is one. But we saw Alexa Bliss come out there and, come to Nikki Cross's aid of returning Alexa Bliss. So that was good. And it was great to see those two hug it out. I think this will be a feud that we'll see. I think these two ladies eventually will split. I just see Alexa Bliss turning on Nikki Cross sooner than later. I could be wrong, but I think that's going to happen. But as far as Sasha and Bayley, something I do not want to see, folks. So I'm going to go ahead and take the first break. I'll be back after this message.
I don't know exactly what
the heck
we need.
is this?
What do you mean? What the heck is this? What does it look like? Bro, you said
What is this?
You said you wanted something big and pizzazz and stuff. Hold on.
Not this. This ain't it.
No, bro, trust me. Trust me.
No.
Bro, trust me. You're not listening to me. Trust me. This is good. Ready? No, this is what we need.
What?
You know
Oh.
what we need? The wrestling realm is styling and profiling all over the internet wrestling community. Bro, bro, this is. I don't care. You can leave all you want, bro. Listen. Diamonds are forever. Woo! And so is the wrestling realm. Woo! The limousine riding, jet flying, Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing.
And I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. I tell you, that real Dwayne Allen is a fool. Hilarious. Oh boy. Make sure you subscribe to the Wrestling Realm. You can get more content like that. I mean, you know, we ain't wrapped too tight, to be honest with you. But nonetheless, here's the tapped out for this week.
Here's our tapped out segment of the week.
The tapped out this week, Starrcade, not the pay-per-view. The fact that the WWE Network decided to have some technical difficulties. Now, you look forward to this just because of the name. Let's be real. It's a house show. Now, I know we talk about the Crown Jewels, the Super Showdowns, all that. Those are house shows. This is this is a house show for the fans, but they dressed it up. They put the Starrcade name on it, put the Starrcade spadazzle in the graphics, which I think this should be a full pay-per-view. You got the name, use it. Don't throw it away for a house show. That's another tapped out right there. But I went to log on 7 o'clock. I said, all right, cool, I'm ready to watch Starrcade. You know, I'll watch that, and then I'll do the show. And there was an error. WWE Network was not working. I'm like, you do WrestleMania, which I'm sure you have a lot of people. You do SummerSlam, Survivor Series was last week. All these shows, all these NXT takeovers. And you have network issues for this one. And this is a show you cannot get anywhere else. Not saying we would jump on the cable companies and order the pay-per-view, but worst case scenario, maybe there's somebody out there that would. This was a network exclusive. Now, they righted their wrong by going onto the YouTube channel and allowing us to watch it there while they fix things. But nonetheless, this was just unacceptable. But one of the matches they had was a Fatal 4-Way match, which featured, it was for a Fatal 4-Way tag team match for the women's tag titles. And you had the Kabuki Warriors defending against Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Also defending against Becky and Charlotte, as well as Sasha and Bayley. Now, of course, the Kabuki Warriors retained the titles. But going into this, I said, you know what? I know it's Starrcade. I know it's not the same thing. Perhaps they could drop the titles. I was actually thinking, if you would have asked me to make a choice, I probably would have picked Becky and Charlotte just because. But nonetheless, Kabuki Warriors are still your reigning women's tag team champions. Dare say they may end up being the best at it. Also, what was supposed to be the main event was Lashley and Rusev in a no-holds-barred match. But Lashley, well, I should say Rusev, has a restraining order against him. He cannot come within so many feet of Lana and Lashley, but that didn't stop him. Now, they did throw Kevin Owens in there. Owens cracked a few house show jokes, telling about nobody cares about your relationship, and Bobby Lashley, nobody's cared about your career. But in the end, Rusev would show up, cause Kevin Owens to lose by disqualification, and then he would attack Bobby Lashley all over the place. So I believe these two are going to have a showdown this month at the TLC pay-per-view. And I can tell you one thing, there will not be any tender love and care. It will be a lot of tables, ladders, and chairs. Oh my. And so, moving on. Go back to SmackDown. We saw the New Day, who was celebrating 5 years. 5 years of being together. They had a tag team match where they successfully defended the tag team championships against Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, I want to see what's going to happen with the New Day. Mainly Kofi Kingston. Now you got Big E right there, who a lot of people believe could be next in line. Should be, Corey Graves even said on his podcast, he is somebody who should be in the works, in the ranks for the WWE Championship. Give him that opportunity. But then you have Kofi, who hasn't gotten a rematch. And, there's no more rematch clauses, but essentially being kicked away, and that's just ridiculous. The former WWE champion, the guy who held the belt for well over 6 months, was on the kickoff show at the Survivor Series. So I want to see what happens with that. Yes, the tag team titles are nice. I believe they had them 7 times. But come on, these guys are main eventers. This was a match of a bunch of workhorses, and I guarantee you a lot of people didn't care about it. Speaking of care, Bobby Roode. So Roman Reigns came out there, discussed the win at the Survivor Series for the SmackDown Live team, and talked about why he essentially kicked Baron Corbin, who wasn't going to get any praise from him, to the curb. But Corbin instead, he sent Robert Roode to have a match with Roman. Now Roode took Corbin's apparatus and came this close to hitting Roman with it, but he missed, and he taunted him by saying, just making, basically saying you ain't gonna be the same for your daughter and all this other stuff, and that would set Roman Reigns off. Roman, when he saw the damage that the Corbin's thing did to the chair, that would lead him to just practically go ham on Robert Roode. As you see, he speared him through the barricade. Then he would go ahead and take the table, the announce table, lift it up and throw it on top of him. So you really saw Roman Reigns just lose it. And the thing is, like Corey Graves said, you never mention Roman's kids. So I thought this was pretty good. I liked how it was done. I want to see how is Robert Roode going to rebound from this. He's one of the people that I have to say is kind of a disappointment a little bit. He was in Impact Wrestling or TNA, whatever you want to call it, was their champion, was a phenomenal champion, had the look, had the mic skills, had the whole badass. Then, put on some good matches. He comes to the WWE, goes to NXT first. He's glorious, wins the NXT championship, and you just enjoy watching him. And then they bring him to the main roster. They turn him babyface, and then it's just, now they make him heel. But he's with Dolph Ziggler, and Ziggler's the epitome of wrestling purgatory, where he just never can crack through that glass ceiling. So I'm just looking at it like, man, Robert Roode, honestly, a disappointment. So, but it's time to go around the net. Around the Net, brought to you by B. Waters Productions. If there's anything out there, you have an event or you want something filmed, simply log on to B. Waters Productions, follow on Instagram. Make sure you hit me up. I can tweet, I can put together social media content for you. I can do photography, I can do videography. You let me, the CEO of B. Waters Productions, know. We start with Kelly Klein, former Ring of Honor Women's Champion, showed that she was blocked by Ring of Honor Wrestling on Twitter. Now, of course, the graphic that you see right up there, I can only get but so much, so the thumbnail wouldn't show the actual block screen. But that's what happened. She quote tweeted that she says she's still going to support the amazing talent. We all know Kelly Klein in Ring of Honor, right? Or maybe you don't know that she was essentially let go because she spoke out about the unsafe working conditions. So that's unfortunate. This past week, it was WrestleCade and a lot of wrestling, but Jordan Grace tweeted that, hey, remember that time Sandman came up to 4 women about to main event to tell us that women main eventing is wrong, and any male wrestler with any sort of experience would agree. Was this in 1998? No, it was tonight, December 2019. So it's unfortunate that somebody like the Sandman, who was, known for his tactics in ECW, but it's not like he was ever a main eventer in the WWE. It's unfortunate that he would say something like this. You would like to think that we're past it, this type of stuff, but unfortunately we're not. And I've heard, a lot of people say, "Oh, drunk Sandman doing drunk Sandman things." Well, it is what it is. It sucks, but to the women out there, keep killing it, keep killing it, keep killing it. They are phenomenal, and they know it. Chicago last weekend, it was a lot of wrestling. I mean, they had everything. They had Raw, SmackDown, AEW Dynamite, TakeOver War Games, and Survivor Series. So, for you numbers people out there, let's get into it. Here's how it looked. Survivor Series, 11,500 people, a legit sellout. TakeOver, only 1,000 people less. TakeOver War Games, 10,500 people. WWE Friday Night SmackDown, 70,800 people in attendance. WWE Monday Night Raw, 7,200. And for AEW Dynamite, 6,100 folks. So, a lot of talk out there. AEW's beating WWE NXT in the ratings. AEW's beating NXT in the ratings. I told y'all, slow down. And I'm not rooting for either company, to be honest with you. I know I covered the WWE heavy, and people may think that, but I'm not rooting for either company. I want to see everybody succeed, and I think if AEW wins some matches, that's some nights, that's good for them. It means people are watching, they're delivering a product that people want to see. But then NXT, same thing. So only time will tell. I do think they'll jump back into it, but we got to see AEW make stars. Like I said about the women's division, we saw what happened with Joey Janela last week. There's already issues. He's not happy with where he's being booked, so he didn't even get on his flight. So, we'll see. Speaking of AEW, Maxwell Jacob Freeman, also known as the MJF, did a little Cody Rhodes thing. And you remember when Cody Rhodes left WWE, he said after his 90 days, he wrote out a list. And he had a list of people that he wanted to wrestle. These people on the independent scene. Well, MJF, and he put after, and he named his, I think it was August 2014, 15, whatever the end of his 90-day probation. Well, MJF says after 11/9, which was AEW Full Gear, he says, a list of people I will never face. And he has Cody Rhodes. Oh boy. Now, if this isn't heat, I love it. I love everything about this. So, there's MJF doing MJF things. This is coming to a head. I want to know, when's the next AEW pay-per-view? What are they gearing up towards? What are they fighting towards? That's what I want to know. And the little bit of the bubbly, Chris Jericho, he announced that he had his own wine, and it's called a little bit of bubbly. And guess what? He sold 10,000 bottles of bubbly. So congratulations to Chris Jericho. Keeps reinventing himself. I don't think that when he won the AEW championship and he talked about he was going to celebrate with some bubbly, I don't think he had the intention of, I'm going to turn this and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to say bubbly and then I'm going to have my own wine. No, it just shows the adaptation and how he's able to do things like this and constantly reinvent himself. Having people, now people said bubbly a little bit, but now it's a thing, right? A lot of wrestling fans are saying it. A little bit of the bubbly. And then finally, cap this off, Trish Stratus had a special WWE 24 on her. WWE Network aired that. I was actually watching it as I was preparing for the show. I will finish it. I'm telling you, it's really good, especially if you're a Trish Stratus fan, such as myself. I believe she is one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time. So it really just digs into her career and talks about how she got started, her final match, her farewell match with Charlotte Flair, the previous retirement match with Lita. So this is, all the WWE 24s are great, but, I had to mention this one because it had Trish Stratus. So, and then, the final thing, I guess I'll mention it. Y'all know, people may not know, I'm not a Batista fan, but him and one of my favorites, Dana Brooke, they've been having an interesting exchange. I love connection, dare say, on Twitter. So congratulations to them. They got together. But yeah, go check out the tweets. He has my personal account blocked on Twitter, but when you got multiple Twitter accounts you run, you can kind of get away from that, and you can see what you couldn't see on one, you can see on another. But yeah, it started off with some pictures, and now they're here. So congratulations to Dave and Dana. So, folks, that'll be it for this episode number 97. I'll break it down with Bryan H. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you are following the show on Twitter at Wrestling Wrealm. Make sure you follow Instagram at Wrestling Wrealm. Go on Facebook. Like the fan page. Do it now. Make sure you subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. Hit the follow button, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop the 5-star rating. And when you do, send me a screenshot. I'll give you a shout out. I promise. Till the next time, folks, I'm Bryan H. Waters. So long, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Break It Down with Bryan H. Hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell so you get notified every time the Wrestling Wrealm posts new content.